Oh, good morning, Rabbi Isai. Yidden Nishmas Mordechai. Now you could leave. Say, we had a guy who says you wanted to hear the good morning, Rabbi Isai. Okay. Today's shir is dedicated Yidden Nishmas, all those who lost their lives on Simchas Torah, and afterwards. The Tehillim, who are fighting right now as we speak. This is the time that they fight, and that's why we have to increase Torah and Chesed and mitzvahs at this time. The Refuah for all the Chaylim. And Be'ezra Hashem, please remind me, we'll say Tehillim after the shir is over. We'll just read a few emails here real quickly. Rebelli, I love the shir. Today you said that the religious didn't go to the stand with Israel rally. Now, did everybody understand that that's what I said?
No, you did, but you corrected yourself. You said that it wasn't.
Yeah, so let me explain because I got a few emails about this. I in no way intended to say that religious people didn't go there because I know many people that went, including what's his name, that famous Rashiva, Rabbi Reuven. No, Reuven, my neighbor's father-in-law, famous. He wrote the book about Balabatim going to Shiva guys going to work. Rabbi Lubyansky. No, some of my friends flew there. I know a lot of people that went there. I said that the religious weren't represented in terms of the speakers. They didn't let them speak. Not that they didn't go, of course. There was thousands and thousands of from people that were there. So if you misunderstood, I apologize. I was there. The majority of the attendees were religious. Okay, I don't know if that's to be precise. Hasidim weren't there. I shouldn't have read that. Except Chabad, he writes in parentheses. And they weren't, so okay, fine. Good. Be well, Shmuel Landsman. But that's not what I said. I wasn't there. I know that as a joke, somebody put out that I was giving a shir there in the morning. I should have shown that I think that was more of a litzanis than anything else. Dear Rebelli, first of all, I would like to add on something I said Tuesday about people who stand on principle, which is usually ego. I heard many years ago from Chashav Yid explaining most people's shitas. He said, take a blank piece of paper and write out randomly on different parts of the paper all of your character failings and all the personality flaws. Then draw a big circle around all the words of the paper. Whatever's inside the circle, those are your shitas. Now, for the important thing, I keep hearing about this amazing venture that Tomer flew to Turkey to secure. Us duppels didn't get the welcome package because they didn't have enough. I didn't know that they ran out, and we volunteered to have another family get it instead of us. But I didn't know about the song section of the venture that includes English and Hebrew lyrics, etc. Big, giant. Here, let me show you what it looks like. So I would like to start an auction and buy one bencher from someone in our MDY community who has an extra one. I'll sell mine. The proceeds can go straight to MDY. The bidding can start high, and hopefully others will outbid them and go lower and lower until I get a reasonable price. Let the bidding begin. Yoeli Halevi Double. By the way, not only Yoeli Halevi is very funny and he has great emails, he also has a very good voice. He was right up there with the Meshorim and the Mizamrim during the whole Shabbos with his low harmony and high harmony and Gavaldic stuff. Hi, Rebelli. When I heard your story about ripping out a page of Baba Kama to learn online at Disney World, I couldn't help but tell you this story that happened to me and my son Jake almost 2 years ago. Listen to this. It's amazing, the story, because it's also happening in Disney World and also with Baba Kama. In January 2022, our family went to Disney for Yeshiva winter break. I was excited that my son Jake told me he wanted to bring his full-size Gemara, Baba Kama, to learn online at Disney as part of his Chazar program. I told him it would not be so practical to bring a whole Gemara into the park, but we could use a photocopy. We brought along a photocopy, and while we were learning online, it's a small world, Disney, there was another Yid who was ahead of us. We didn't know who he was, saw us learning, and he was shocked. He asked if we could take a picture. Later on, they ran into him, and he said, you are famous. Bekitzer, it made it to the Simcha spot, the front page, with the caption, and here it is, here's the caption, Kiddush Hashem alert, the father and son seen learning Baba Kama in line at Disney theme park. Baba Kama and Disney. Unbelievable. I told Jake, look how you can make sure a big impact just by doing your job and learning even online at Disney. You never know who's watching, and you never know what an impact you're having on another Yid besides the impact you're having on yourself. I was in the live Miami shir last Thursday night, but unfortunately I didn't get the chance to come talk to you. Attaching a picture below of time at MDY headquarters. Lasheri Chaim Hirsch Yishkoyach Hertz Chaim Levin MDY. Dear Moiv Rabbi Rebelli, firstly, still on a high from the Shabbaton. The next one can't come soon enough. I even gave some impromptu recruiting classes. That would be a Mordechai idea if he gave a full-fledged, like Friday afternoon, a recruiting class, how to recruit. Hopefully, the participants will be inspired to forge out on their own. I even met some people who were recruited by me and are now staunch MDYers, one who's actually world famous. They drank the MDY Kool-Aid. I also, for the first time in my life, I met a real-life Eisenbach Bekitzer. That Eisenbach moved to Eretz Yisrael from Hungary because they didn't feel like their kids had a very good education in Hungary, and he made a personal sacrifice to be financially well off in Europe. And that brings me to my Zaidi. He grew up in a small town in Bessarabia. The family of Bayan Hasidim were Eniklach of the Zhuzhiner. Chaim Levin, Eniklach of the Zhuzhiner. Their town bordered Bessarabia, Romania, Ukraine. During World War I, and border kept changing. Kitzer, the soldiers came in and used to take yidden for prisoners. Every night, my Zaidi, his mother and his brother would sneak food to the prisoners. On one particular night, they noticed that nobody was guarding the prison due to the battle. Somehow, my Zaidi was able to unlock the prisoners and free everyone incarcerated there. Hence, that's why I use the word Matir Asurim in my dedication. Your Talmud always, Peretz Chaim Levin, MDY. Okay. What are we doing here time-wise? Dear Belly, I want to thank you for the whole team for taking the initiative and putting together such a Gavaldic, inspiring Shabbos experience. From the first phone conversation with Yosef client, I knew this is from Gedalia Miller from Kesher Nafshi. I knew it would be an unbelievable event. I'm happy to have served a small part in helping with the logistics. Yishkoyach Gedalia for that. Bezer Hashem, because he has a lot of experience, so we called on him to figure out how to do it, the cater, this and that. This will be the first of many to come. Hopefully next Shabbaton, you'll be sold out months ahead. This morning I had an idea as a parent. The best Hanukkah gift you could give your child is an opportunity to join MDY. Please sign up your children and present them with a beautiful MDY Gemara, and don't forget to add some MDY merch. In the past, the Baruch Hashem signed up a few individuals that are still listening since COVID. As you're aware, at Kesher Nafshi Shabbaton, we had Peretz Chaim Levin recruit so far over 100 people. I invited... And by the way, I didn't put the two emails together on purpose. I just noticed that just so happened to be. I invited Peretz Chaim to our upcoming Shabbaton Parashas Miketz, December 15th. This is not a plug or anything for his Kesher Nafshi. The Shabbaton Parashas Miketz, December 15th to the 17th, at my full cost, even though we have an annual budget of over $1 million. There's a lot of hints here. Rabbi Sai donate his budget over $1 million. Rabbi Sai go to his Parashas Miketz, December 15th to 17th. But he Lemaisi gave a full Shabbos to Peretz Chaim Levin, so Peretz Chaim Levin could go and recruit people. It's unbelievable. I feel this is the future of Klal Yisrael. Chazak, chazak. I don't know what's the future of Klal Yisrael. His Shabbaton or MDY, both. Freilich and Chanukah, Gedalia Miller, KesherNafshi.org. Shkoyach, Gedalia Miller. Josh Seidman. I was in Austin, Texas, listening to Daf Amud Aleph, and the video of the Tehillim and the Pidyon Haben reminded me instantly of this. My dad, Zechraya L'zechus, doing my oldest brother's Pidyon Haben without my mom, Zechraya L'zechus, without the baby, while serving in Korea in the mid-50s. There's a copy of an official U.S. Army photo. So here they are, without the baby, without the mother, doing a Pidyon Haben in 1950-something. Wow, 70 years ago. Let me just... Oh, it's over there. It's 8 minutes in. Okay. What do we have here? I've recently learned about your Daf Yomi shir. Watch them through Torah anytime. I assume that you hold this Shabbos Daf, Shur Motzi Shabbos, when it can be returned. When can one benefit from those shiurim? Live, YouTube Torah anytime. So Motzi Shabbos is 9 o'clock, we said? Wow, that gives you a lot of time to prepare your shkoyach. So it's going to be live on YouTube at 9 o'clock. It's live on Zoom at 9 o'clock. Then, Central. And if you're in New York, that's 10 o'clock. Thank you, Mordechai. I just like what he wrote on the bottom here. SC Arshadnia, PMP, black belt, lean 6 sigma. Maza. It's dangerous.
6 Sigma's a methodology for business.
Yeah. So maybe it's maybe it's a black belt in business. Okay. The Masechta for the unity of Am Yisrael, the month. Eli Stefansky Ben Moshe and Eli Stefansky Ben Yosef. Paras Chodesh. Refua Shlema for Dvora Bas Sarah Gershon Ben Moshe's mother. Hatzlocha Paras Chodesh Hatzlocha L'zechus Yosef Mayer ben Rochel and Yidden worldwide. Parents of Shavua, Mordechai Sapoznick. Lzaicher Nishmas, his grandmother was just niftar. Faigeh Shprintza bas Horav Yitzchok Sapoznick, aliyah shalom. Neshama have an aliyah. Parents of Shavua, Alen, Kahen, Yocheved, Mina, bad Avraham, and Emunah, Rivka, bad Benyamin, zechariah Rochel. The parents of Yoim is the refua shlema of Rochel bas Shendel. And the art of the man, the Yosef ben Chai sorry for all the schusim that come from supporting Limudat Torah. Rabbi, here we go. We are holding Daf Tesvav Amud Aleph, 6 lines down. This is mamish for nisim and flies. Well, yeah, obviously, if the shir goes more than an hour, you can have nisim. It's one of the only times that on a Thursday we start like 6 lines into the next Amud. So we know that Karen. Here's a riddle. It's not a riddle; it's just a shaila in Baba Kama. Karen has a difference between a tam and a muad. First 3 times, you only pay 50%. When, and we learned this in this Masechta, when does regel, who doesn't have a tam and a muad, when does regel pay 50%? Who said? Simi. You're anonymous from Lakewood. Your brother-in-law said the answer. Simi Mandelbaum. Tzroiros. Chatzi nezik tzroiros. Okay, good. We got people. We had some complaints from the Olam in RBS. Baruch Hashem, like 20 to 30 people come every morning and they watch the shir and they criticize my jokes and stuff, including Mendy, of course. He's the Rochel criticizers. Yishkoach Mendy. But they said that the Olam is not on top. Like sometimes I make mistakes and the Olam is not jumping in and correcting me. You have to jump in, you have to show. We're holding. V'hanoshim b'chlal hanezik. Women are also chayiv when they damage or they're in the damage. How do you know that women and men are equal when it comes to damages? So the Gemara gives us 3 different psukim, and the Gemara is going to say we need all of them. It's 3 different areas in the Torah that women are equal to men. Ish or isha, a man or a woman. We're talking about a shvua sheker. Hishva kasav ishalish. The Torah compared a woman to a man. Therefore, a woman is chayiv. She can't say, "Oh, I'm potter in all the mitzvahs I say shas man grama. Therefore, I'm not chayiv in averis or whatever." No, the Torah says men and women are equal. You punish him, you punish her. MMA, she goes ahead and she damages somebody else's, her animal damages another person's animal or property. She's chayiv just like a man. Mishpatim lifneihem, in front of all of you, men and women. So again, we have by shvua sheker and we have mishpatim dinim. And what's the third one? The Beichizke Rabbi Yosef Aglili Tana Makro Vehemis Ish or Isha, talking about a shar, going back to Baba Kama, that if a bull killed a man or a woman, Hishva Kasav Isha Leish L'chol Misa Shabbat Torah, you have to pay something called koifer. Yeah, the value of the person. Chol Misa Shabbat Torah. If a woman, if you kill a woman, you're chayiv just as much as you killed a man. There's no difference. You can't say, "Oh, she's just a woman," or "She's just not chayiv as many mitzvahs as a man." You kill a woman, you chayiv mitzvah just like you kill a man. Utzrichi says the Gemara, and all 3 of these limudim are needed. If you only told me this shvuas, sheker, beautiful. You made my night. Thank you. Come more often. Some who the chas rachmon Allah. Rabbi said he came at a perfect time. Listen to this line over here that the Gemara says. When a person swears falsely, says the Gemara, listen to these words. Hasamu the chas rachmana. Chas is a lotion of rachmanas. The Torah had rachmanas on this person. A kapara is a rachmanas. It's not a punishment. It comes from pity, from Hashem having pity on us. So he gives us a kapara. Maisa with the Arizal, a guy came to the Arizal to complain or to ask him, why does he have so many Yisurim? So many. and that's not my phone. And he fell asleep waiting in line. And as he fell asleep, he dreamt that he was niftar. He went up to Shemayim and he started putting his mitzvahs and averis on a scale. And then it wasn't very good. It wasn't looking good. He had like more averis, was typically. And they took all his yisurim and they put it on the scale, and the scale started going like this. But it wasn't good enough. It was like missing some yisurim. So in his dream, he starts begging. He says, "Please give me more yisurim so I could go like this." And then he woke up. In other words, yisurim, it's easy to say when you don't have them, but people understand that yisurim are for your good. In order that she should have a kapara. So a woman needs a kapara. She doesn't want to go to Olam HaEmes without a kapara. She doesn't want to go to Gehenna. She needs kapara just like a man needs kapara. So that's why she's in the parsha of Shvua Sheker. If she swore falsely, she needs a kapara. She's the same as a man. But when it comes to Choshe Mishpat, to halachas, ish, the bar maso matanin, maybe a man who, especially in those days, only men went out to work, ishaloi, so all those halachas of mishpatim, stealing and cheating and all this stuff is for a man. Act a certain way in business. It wasn't said for a woman. So maybe I need to tell it to you by dinim as well, that a woman is equal to a man. And if I would just say by dinim, people won't deal with a woman. If people know that a woman could cheat and she's not going to suffer any consequences, nobody's going to want to do business with her. So it's for her good that she has consequences and that she cannot cheat just like a man can't cheat. She can't steal. She can't put in the fake weights and all that stuff that they used to do or still do. Right, I told you that, I wasn't thinking about saying it, but there was a store in Ramat Beit. I bought something by weight, and it really bothered me. Like, didn't make sense that it was like that price and it was exactly equal. I don't even remember. So I waited for the guy to leave the store, and then I went back into the store. I said I want to return it, and it was actually a different price. It was off by 1 shekel, which is not the end of the world, but 1 shekel in his favor. It was like 49. He rounded it off to 50. It's wrong. That's gneva. That's Pasha gneva. A shekel is probably she's smiling, I'm telling you. It's like, it's sad to see. Like, but to me, it was like, what? I bought this item and it was exactly 50 shekel. Not one iota to this way or that way. Something didn't make sense to me at the time, and okay, whatever the story was, fine. But I guess people do that till this very day. Avakapara ish the bar mitzvah in isha the labas mitzvah loy. So, oh, sorry. That she should have, she should be able to make a living. Avakapara ish the bar mitzvah in isha the labas mitzvah loy. But by kapara, so think about this for a second. This is unbelievable. A person who has mitzvahs, why would that be a reason why a man is chayv in all the mitzvahs? That should be a reason why, if he dies, you have to pay kofer. A woman that doesn't have so many mitzvahs as a man, so if you kill her, maybe you shouldn't have to pay kofer. You shouldn't have to pay. Kofer is the value of the person. So maybe you don't have to pay. Why would I have such a havim in Rabbi Yisrael? Well, what could be a svar in that? Huh? But the Erichin, at least, there's something for a woman. But I hear. So Rashi says something incredible. I think we have to see it inside. Ishtabar mitzvahs. Mishalim balashor kofer le'yorshim. Mishum de batli min mitzvahs. Says Rashi, why are you paying kofer? You're paying, you think, I'm paying kofer because you killed somebody and the person has a life and his life is valuable and he can have children and he's not going to be able to go to his kid's chasana and this and that. So you pay. No. What you did when you killed somebody is you took away his opportunity to perform mitzvahs. That's what you did. You hear this? Isn't that murdic? And I would think, since a woman has so few mitzvahs compared to a man, so maybe, okay, there's no kofer. I would have such a havamina. A man has crazy amount of mitzvahs. He's mechuyev to learn Torah, he's mechuyev to do this and fill in the whole day, mitzvahs. So when you kill him, you have to pay his yarshim a penalty. Look what you took away from him. Took away all these mitzvahs. But I thought it's fascinating that Rashi said that. That's what you took away. Exactly. Paying for the potential. Well, I always knew that you're paying for the potential. I always thought that what a guy does when a guy kills somebody is you're taking away the potential generations. This person could have had thousands of descendants in 100 years. You took all that away. No, you took away the potential of mitzvahs. Okay, so we just explained kapara and living avalin ktala. Oh, here, this is where it is. Avalin ktala ish the bar mitzvah. L'shalim koifer yishaloi. When it comes to killing, this is where Rashi says it. Sorry, this is where Rashi says it. So let's go back. That she should have a kapara. Ish the bar mitzvah in ish the lav mitzvah loy. A man has many more mitzvahs. That's why maybe he should have kapara, not her. We have two svars, one for kapara, forgiveness, and making a living. Ish. Put it back. Yeah. Ish. But when it comes to killing somebody, ish the bar mitzvah l'shalom koiver ishaloi. You killed a woman, maybe you shouldn't have to pay koiver. Okay, maybe you killed a woman, you took away her life, so that's why you have to pay. But when it comes to kapara, for swearing, for swearing falsely, and for talking about mumminess, for the dinim of mishpatim, there's no life lost with mishpatim and with falsely swearing. Fine. So that's why I need all three. Yeah? If you just showed up, brand new sugya. Both the nizuk and the mazik are in the payment. What does that mean? Itmar. And this is a beautiful sugya. This, we need to know palganizka, when a keren, when a bull gores another bull, and it's his first, second, third time that he's doing it, he only pays 50%. What's going on? It's a beautiful shiloh. What happened? Why does he pay 50%? Is it a discount that we're giving him? Or actually we're increasing what he was supposed to pay? He wasn't supposed to pay anything. And we said, we'll give you a penalty, you have to pay 50%. Mm-hmm. Or perhaps it means, no, he should have paid 100%. And because this is the first time, we're going to lower it down to 50%. Big nafkamina. Palganiska, the fact that you only pay 50%. Rapapa says it's regular chiyuv tashlumim, you have to pay it. You had to pay more. Now we're only saying pay half. Ravuna brother Yeshua Amar Knasa, and Ravuna in the name of Yeshua says no, it's a knas. What's the huge nafkamina? Explains Rashi. Moida b'knas potter. Yeah, so that's all the side that we had. Moida b'knas potter. Meaning, if it's just a penalty that the Torah imposed on this person, so the halacha is your ox goes and kills another bull. You could run to Bezdin and say, "Hey, my bull just killed another bull." And because it's a penalty, they'll say you don't owe anything. Forget about it. You don't owe a thing. Why? Because it's a knas. But if you're mechuyev to pay 100%, just the Torah took off 50 and said you only have to pay 50, so you could be might as much as you want. You can admit to it, and it's not going to help you. Rapapa Omar, Mamayna. Why does Rapapa say that's considered regular chiyuv? Kesavar stam shvarm lav b'ches kashimur kaim. A typical bull you can't really guard. And the halacha should have been, technically speaking, should have paid 100%. Again, the same lashon as before. The Torah has rachmanas on you, but over here it's something else. Torah has rachmanas on you. Since your bull didn't prove himself that he's a damager, so you know what? Just pay 50%. It's a penalty. So Rabbi say, let's get the question well, because we're going to go into a bunch of rayas here. Again, question is the 50% that a Tom pays when he gores, when he does all his damage, when he bites a mirror off a car, when he stomps on a car, he only pays 50% in the first 3 times. Is that a penalty or it's a discount?
It seems like it should be neither, because if the person that got damaged, obviously they deserve to be compensated. Something bad happened to them. But the person that did the damage, it's his animal. He had no control. Something bad happened to both of them. So you do a compromise.
Let me ask you something. If a person owns an animal and his animal dies, he deserves a compensation?
Well, something bad happened to him.
So a lot of bad things. Bad things happen to everybody every day. So you get compensated every time a bad thing happens to you?
No.
What are you, from those colleges? A bad thing happened to him. His animal dropped dead. Now what? Who are you going to go after? No one. No. Okay, so just because something bad happened, it doesn't mean that you deserve money. Something bad happened. Some guy's wild animal jumped over the fence and killed your animal. Perhaps, I'm just throwing this out. Maybe he doesn't deserve anything. 0. It was a mistake. Things happen. And if a wild animal that lives in the jungle came and killed his animal, again, he doesn't get a compensation. So the Torah said, you know what? He shouldn't get anything. But you were slightly negligent here. Yes, he didn't know about his bad behavior. Pay him 50%. That's one way to look at it. Says Gemara. That's why there's machlokes here. Says Gemara. I'm gonna use that analogy soon. Says Gemara like this. Tanan. We learned in the Mishnah. In our Mishnah it says both the one that damages, the one that damaged, they are both part of the payment. So the Gemara says a beautiful thing here. If you say that it's monetary, did I skip? Lines. Maybe. Why? He holds that most bulls, you're able, they take care of themselves, they don't damage, and therefore you shouldn't pay at all. Rachmana, the concept of Rachmana, and the Torah said, he's right, I think I did skip. And the Torah says, let's give him a penalty. So that he should watch his bull, even if maybe he thought he didn't have to. Now, what about our Mishnah? So we have a right from our Mishnah. It says in the Mishnah, both parties, the damager and the damaged, they participate in the payment. What does that mean? So I'll just say about peh. Very, very simple. If there's a payment due, the guy deserves 100 and all he got was 50 because the other guy got a discount. So both participate in the payment. The Nizik had to pay 50%. The Mazik lost 50%. It's 50% that he deserved. So he participated in the payment. But if it's a penalty, in other words, he deserved 0, yeah? If the guy deserved a big fat 0, and the Torah said, you Mazik have to pay 50% out of your pocket because I'm giving you a penalty, so then it doesn't make sense to say that the one that was damaged, he also participated 50% by not receiving more. Why? Because, as example I gave you before, this is not in Rashi. I just thought of this example. I think it's very, very tzukapast there. When a person loses an animal, he has a dedicated cow that he's been working with for 25 years, and Nebuch, the cow, is niftar. After a terrible machla, the cow is niftar. Does anybody compensate him? No. What does he get for it? 0. So in this case, where the guy that was damaged should have gotten al pi halacha 0, comes along one person and gives him a gift of 50. So you can't consider the other 50 as if he's participating and he also contributed to the payment 50. One was a penalty, and the other 50 was, that's it. It's a loss. He didn't participate. You know what I'm saying? If the mazik was chayiv 100, and the Torah let him off the hook and said only pay 50, then you could say that since he deserved 100, so he's participating 50 but not receiving the whole thing. The 50 that he's not receiving, that's his participation and contribution to the whole sum of 100. But if it's a penalty, it makes no sense to say hanizik v'hamazik b'tashlumim. It's not tashlumim. The whole thing is just a gift. There's no payment here. Says the Gemara inside. If you say that it's a true payment, but he only has to pay 50%, then I could say that the nizuk, the one that was damaged, he had to participate in the other 50%. The other man says that it's a knas, it's a penalty, hashla, the lavdi day shokil, since the whole 50 that he received was just a gift from Hashem, he didn't deserve it at all. You think he participated? He didn't give anything. Sure. I heard a beautiful line here. Here, stop. First of all, a woman told an Avardik Bacher, she said, I saw the cat eat your butter. So he says, it wasn't my butter. She says, no, I saw, it was your butter. You put it down, it was your butter. He said, no. If the cat took it, then it wasn't mine. As I cook. In other words, if it's over here, if you don't deserve it, then it's not yours. So it's not tashlum. Fine. But this reminded me, I think because the shita of this year is to explain good pshat. Before we go anywhere, before we fly out of control, and mefarshim, good pshat to understand what was going on. So somebody told me a vart that a Rebbe in a yeshiva g'dayla, Rebbe for 18, 19-year-olds, he decided to take a job with 13, 14-year-olds in yeshiva Tana. So they asked him why. He said because in yeshiva Tana, the Rebbe's job is to say the ktsois better than the next guy. Better than the next guy. But in yeshiva g'dayla, his job is to say better than the ktsois. And that I don't want to do. I want to say good pshat. Okay, fine. I could hear them already in Rav Chash. You should have said like this, like that. Okay, fine. Zog the Gemara. Oh. Le'nitzrucha, says the Gemara, le'nitzrucha elo lepchas nevelo. Let's see if we have a chart here. Maybe there's a surprise. What's this? Oh, no. This is not it. There's something else. Okay. So we don't have a chart for that. Okay. So, Chas Nevela is as follows. Oh, I do have, let me just go through it quickly. It's in the wrong place. Here we go. Chas Nevela. It's time to remember this Yisai. Chas Nevela. Oh, I didn't put it on the chart. When a bull kills another bull, he's a tam that kills another bull, and that bull's worth $1,000. How much does the tam have to pay? 50%, 500. Wait, before he pays 500, we're going to see how much is the bull that's dead worth. The bull that's dead is worth 200. So how much does he have to pay? 300. But before they even had a chance to go to Bezdin, this and that, without refrigeration, without a tractor, this that, the bull started smelling up and started rotting away. And now the bull's only worth 100. The owner of the tam doesn't have to pay that 100. The owner of the bull, he takes a loss of 100. So how much is he going to get at the end of the day? He's going to get 400, right? Because the bull was worth 200 minus 100. The guy, the owner of the tam, pays 300. He sells his rotting nevela for 100. He gets a total of 400 instead of 500. So he took 100 loss. That's called pchas nevela. Pchas nevela. Okay? So, we're talking about that the guy is receiving 50%. he should have received 500, and instead, he should have received 500 from a knas, even if we talk about a knas. He should have received 500 because of the knas. Today he's receiving how much? 400 with the knas. So then he did participate in the payment. You're telling me that when it's a knas, it doesn't make sense to say that the owner of the dead bull participated in the payment, because everything he's receiving is a gift. You're right, it's a gift. But the gift was a $500 gift, and now he only received a $400 gift. So he participated $100 in the entire payment. Not the 600, not the 500 that the Tom doesn't pay. Within the Tom, he should have received the full 500, and today he's only receiving 400. So that means that the owner of the dead animal is participating somewhat in the payment. Says Gemara, if that's the case, that's something we already learned. Yeah, you remember the beginning, this is not the first time that we're learning about the idea of Chas Nevela. It says in the Mishnah, the first Mishnah, Tashlumi Nezek, we said, what does it mean, Tashlumi Nezek? That the owner, the Nizek, has to deal with the animal. In other words, if there's a loss, if it becomes rotted or whatever, that's his loss, the Nizek. Says Gemara, you're right. But one is talking about one thing, and we're talking about another thing. We have to say this halacha of Chas Nevela, whether, in my case, the case that we just discussed, the Tam did it, or a Muad did it, what's Richa? And why would I think it's different? The Yashmin Tam, because if I said this halacha Chas Nevela by Tam, he didn't become a Muad yet, a Muad, a bull that's done this over and over, maybe the owner should pay for all the rotted flesh. Why should I put it on the guy that got damaged? No, even when he's a bucky in killing other animals, the owner of the dead animal takes care of the body. And if I just said it by Muad, maybe the owner of the damager doesn't have to pay for rotted meat. Why? Because he's paying a full price. He's getting off the hook anyway. Maybe since he's getting off the hook, he's only paying 500. Maybe he should pay the full 500, not 400. Okay. Tashma. Again, what's the shaila? Is Tam that pays 50%, is it a penalty or it's a discount? What's the difference between a Tam and a Muad? I'll tell you, let me give you a list of things that are different between a Tam and a Muad. A Tam pays half a nezek, whatever he's valued at. So let's say, okay, this animal is worth $1,000. He went and he destroyed a Ferrari. Ferrari cost $250,000. How much did the Tam pay? Half of the 250. Oh yeah, I took a wrong number. Ferrari cost 200. Okay, 200,000. So half of that is 100,000. Even Panovich could do a math like that. 250 gets too complicated. 125. Okay, 100. But he doesn't have to pay $100,000. How much does he have to pay? $1,000. His own value. What his body's worth of 1,000. Here, take my animal, my Tam, Am Yisrael. He damaged $200,000. He gets away with 1,000. Huh? No, he should have paid. His damage was $200,000. He should pay, in this case, $100,000. But because we only go up to the value of what he's worth, it's topped out at 1,000. Says Gemara, aliyah. But if he's done this 3 times already, so he has to pay $200,000. And if he doesn't have, if the bull is only worth 1,000, you go to his house, you start grabbing stuff. Says Rashi, you don't grab. The bezin will take his Lzaicher and his car and his karka, whatever we have to take away. Aliyah from the best property. Listen to Namiha. And if you are right, why don't we say this nafkamino here? That what? If it's a knas, so knas, you get away with admitting to it. So it's a huge nafkamina. If the animal's a tam and he damaged a Ferrari, you run to Bez and you say, I damaged the Ferrari, you don't even have to pay $1,000. 0. And if he's a muad, he has to pay $200,000. Huge nafkamina, it should be there in the list. Says Gemara ton of Vishir. You're right. It should be in the list, but we didn't bring everything in the list. There's other thing. But if you took things out of the list, you need at least 2. What's the second thing? My shir chatzi koifer. When a tam kills a person, he don't have to pay half a koifer. A muad has to pay koifer. A tam should pay half the damages. In this case, he doesn't pay anything. Says Gemara, but imishum chatzi koifer loves euro. That's not a good one to take off the list. Hamani Rabbi Yisrael Glili, doma tam shalom chatzi koifer. According to Rabbi Yisrael Glili, you do pay half a koifer, and if you do pay half a koifer, that's already a regular tam. It's already included in the difference between a tam and a muad. Toshma. So what's the question again? Is chatzi nezek that a tam pays? Is it a penalty? He shouldn't have paid at all. Is it knas? Or is it mama and he should have paid 100%, but we gave him a discount? Hey, Mishayr is plenty. A person is moide. He comes to Bezdin, a big tzaddik. My shar killed somebody. My shar or shar shalploini, or my shar killed another animal. Oh, what do you see? If he does have to pay, that's a right. That's not moide b'knas potter. It's not a knas. It's mama. My labatam. Are you talking about a case of tam? Lo b'muad. Not a right, because we're not even talking about a tam. We're talking about a muad. And when it comes to a muad, you can't admit to anything. There's no admission in court. Oh, aval tamai. But what about a tam? You think I didn't think about your answer? You're going to tell me it's not talking about a tam, it's talking about a muad? Great. But even if you're right that it's talking about a muad, but what's the halacha by a tam? You're telling me that he won't pay. Why? Because it's a knas and it's knas spotter. The Mishnah jumps to another case completely where he's potter. What's the case? When he admits that my ox killed somebody else's slave, he doesn't have to pay. Why do I have to jump to the case of a slave? Live like listen to the day. Just tell me in one case, 2 nafkaminas. Now what? You're telling me that the whole mission, the beginning of the mission, is talking about a muad. So I'll tell you 2 cases. One is when an animal's a muad, then he has to pay, even though he admits. And the other case is when the animal's a tam, if he admits, he doesn't have to pay. Why are you jumping to a story where the ox killed an eved? Says I'll tell you why. We don't want to go to a case of tam. We want to give you a Mishnah that tells us 2 different cases in a muad. Fine. Toshma. Zakla. If a bull killed a slave that's worth 1 shekel, how much does he have to pay? 30 shekel. What's 30 shekel? 30 shekel is a knas. He doesn't have to pay this 30 shekel if it's more. If the 30 shekel equals more than his damage, he doesn't have to pay if he admits. What does that mean? My love, you see from here, if he had to pay more than he damaged, then he doesn't pay if he admitted. And it's mashma that if it was less than what he damaged, mishalim. Then what? That's a raya that if it's a knas, mishalim, that it's not a knas, it can't be a knas, because if it's less than what he damaged, that's like in our case, that he pays less, which would be, it's a siman that's a knas, he does have to pay, even though he admitted. So you see, it's not a knas. So the dig has to be not less. We start off. It says if he admits to something that's more than he damaged, so you can infer from that less. No, what you can infer for is if it's exactly what he damaged. In other words, both below damage and above damage is what? If I tell you, listen, think about this for a second. You damaged 100 and I make you pay 150. What is that called? A knas. And if you damaged 100 and I made you pay 50, what is that called? Also a knas. They're both knas. They're both types of. If you're not paying what you damaged, then something's off here. Then it means that Hashem said you have to pay something else. It's a knas. So then the obvious question is, then why does it say only one case? That he he paid more than the damage. Listening, zaklal kol she'ein mishal k'mo she'izik. Because it's whether you went above and whether you went below, you don't have to pay for either if you admit. So then it should just say, if you don't pay exactly what you damaged, then you're potter. The mashma pach is a mashma yaiser. Tiyufta. That's a very good question. Usually a tiyufta is a bomb question, and there's no answer to it. So second later, the Gemara says, v'hilchasa, even though I have a bomb question, palguk niska knasa. You should know, the halacha is that we paskin that the 50% that a tam pays is a knas. And therefore what? Moide b'knas, potter. That's the Gemara, makes no sense what you just said. Tiyufta v'hilchasa? You asked me a bomb question and then you paskin a second later? Says Gemara in. Yes. Time am I have it to what was your big bomb question? Mishum delikatani kemoy shezik. Because you said the wrong wording. It should have said if a person admits exactly to what he damaged, then he's chayiv, and otherwise he's potter. Well, I couldn't say that. Why? Because it's not so clear to say it like that. Oh, now. Is that one of the most famous musagim from Bava? Chatzi nezik tzroiros. There's something called chatzi nezik tzroiros. The hilchas gemirla. The mamaynohu. There's a halacha l'moish Mina that says that even though he pays half, it's not a knas. It's mamayin. So here's let's just do this. Here. Chatzi nezik tzroiros looks like this. It's in Rosh Hashanah because Regel is chayv in Rosh Hashanah, not Rosh Hashanah. And Regel, there's no tam and mood by Regel. So he should be chayv how much? 100%. But because it's a special halacha mishum Sinai, that if a stone squirts out of his foot and breaks something down, only has to pay 50%. It's not Karen. It's Regel.
Is that skram or
no? Halacha mishum Sinai and it's not a knas, it's mama. That's why here's a case where he paid less than the damage, and he cannot admit to it in Bezdin. He can't say, hey, he can't run fast and say, Rabbi Isai, I want to admit something. I want to admit about a knas. That what? That my shar was walking and a stone shot out of his foot and broke the barrel. He'd still be chayiv. Why? Because it's not a knas. Hilchah said that it's mammon. When it comes to regel, that's mammon. And Mamela can't be in that brisa. Anyway, says the Gemara like this. What? Still there. What's next over here? Let me just see. No, I'm looking over here. Okay, let's see what he did here. This is all stuff that came up after I left. So this is the thing that we just discussed. You have a tam that's worth 1,000, and he damaged a bull that's worth $1,000 damages. So you should pay the value on top. Doesn't make sense. It says on the bottom 1,000. You should pay 500. I get it. And now that he's dead and rotted, went down 100. So Bekitzer, he only owes 400. That's what we discussed before. Okay, very good. Ooh, that's okay. That's the next one. So looking more like this. Here we're holding already. The hash is palgin is kuknasa. But now that we already established la halacha that the 50% that a tam pays is a penalty. Check this out. Beautiful picture. A dog who eats a large sheep and a cow that eats a large chicken. That's weird. It's mishuna. It's different. Yeah, we say on Pesach. That would be mishuna. For a cat to kill a goat, mishuna. It says even to kill a large chicken is mishuna. So, okay. So Nachal, you have a dog that does weird stuff, even though he's eating. It's Shen. He's eating, but it's a weird eating. It's similar to a bull ripping off a mirror from a car with his teeth. So Mela what? In Bavel, since it's a knas, we just established that chiyuv would be a knas. If he's a tam, you would have to pay a half a nezek, and it's a penalty. There's no penalties in Bavel. They don't have smicha. They cannot paskin g'doyle ador, can't paskin on knasses, and therefore they can't be goivo. Two things. First of all, a person told me a ma'isa that in a moshav in Eretz Yisrael that he was there, they had a lot of sheep, so they bought these very big dogs to take care of the sheep, protect them from the wolves, whatever. And they once had, I think they shechted one of the sheep, and they had a head of a sheep. So they decided they're going to treat the dog with the head of the sheep. So they tossed the sheep to the head of the sheep to the dog. And he says the biggest mistake they ever did. From that day on, the dogs were killing the sheep. They trained the dogs to eat sheep. So he says, stop, I thought it was an interesting thing. So in Parsha Shavua, this week, another interesting thing that's Meshuna. The Medrash says that Esav, when he couldn't get Tzayid for Yitzchok, so he shechted a dog. And what he gave Yitzchok was a dog. You ever heard of this? Yeah. I'm talking about a dog in Meshuna. Fine. And that's the Gehenim that the Yitzchok smelled or whatever. Okay. They're talking about these are large animals. If they're small, some even want to say it's talking about a cat. That a cat, it is the derech of a cat to kill birds. They kill a lot of birds, cats. I forgot the number, like hundreds of millions of birds a year. Vi tofas loy mafkinamile. That if the halacha is that you can't go after the mazik because it's a knas, but if the nizik goes and grabs, you could go after him. So Yakim from the Koilo told me, Amaisa, maybe he doesn't want me to say it in his name, so I won't say it in his name. In Yeshiva, he learned the Chevron. There was a big tzaddik and a masman in his room, in a room, and I don't know if he said his room, in a room, and he would set the alarm clock at 5 o'clock in the morning. He wanted to get up every morning 5 o'clock. But then he ate Sahara, so he'd snooze and snooze. But it bothered the Bachram terribly. And they would tell him, I have to get up, kids. So they go to Rosh Hashanah. So he said, look, in Bava Kama, we just learned Daf Yomi Beis that you can take from the mazik. You can take from the mazik. So take from the mazik. Take the mazik. That's what he said. Take the mazik. So they understood, take from the mazik. What he meant is take the alarm clock. What happened was, the guy, he wakes up in the morning, like at 8 o'clock, he wakes up in the bathroom. Because they took the mazik. They took him with his whole bed in the middle of the night, and they dumped him in the bathroom. The Meshgiach came. He's like, what chutzpah? He said, Shiva said, we should take the mazik. Yeah, not the mazik. He meant the alarm clock. Okay, fine. Zog the Gemara. Yeshiva Maisis. Says the Gemara, and if the nizik comes and grabs from the mazik, he's not going to go all the way to Bavel. So he grabs something, so you don't take it out of him. If he says, I want to go to Eretz Yisrael and have this fought out in Eretz Yisrael, and they're going to pass in that I get a knas, so we have to make him an appointment. And if the mazik doesn't go, we put him in chayrim. But either way, we have to put this guy in chayrim. Why? Because he has a terrible animal running around causing massive damage. The Rav Nosson says, how do you know you're not allowed to have a bad dog in your house? So over here you can be medayik if you want. Although I think there's a Gemara that says you shouldn't have any dog. But maybe. But over here the Gemara says, before we get to any other Gemaras, over here the Gemara says you're not allowed to have a ra, kelev rab zerbeso, a pit bull, a ra. Those little dogs, I don't think are nichlal in ra. So I want to say, oh, it's all. And then, this is the famous Gemara in Brachas, David HaMelech had dogs. So they said, okay, it was not in Beis, it was outside of his house, in the Chatz, Shlima HaMelech has what to do. The dogs want to eat David HaMelech, the whole thing. And a person should not have a rickety rackety ladder in his house. How do you know this? You're not allowed to have a roof without a mica, without a fence. And anything else that's similar to that, a dog that could kill. The Gemara talks about a dog having a woman miscarry because of it. Different Gemaras that dogs could cause damage, obviously. So if you have a dog that could cause damage, it's a deraisa. What else is this? The rice of Bisman Hazeh? This is something very shchiach here in Chicago, especially a gun. A gun without a safe, for instance. A lot of kids have died from it. They find their parents' guns and they think it's they know what they're doing and they kill themselves. There's a story with a 2-year-old kid shot his mother. But another thing that I would venture to say that it's also in Ruchnius. If a person has unfiltered internet in his house, it could be like Sasan Dama Veisecha. Mamish like that. There's Ruchnius also. Zog the Gemara. Says the Mishnah, what? Image. I love it. It's a great image. I can't really see what it says here. 56. Okay, so let's see if we could just go through this Mishnah quickly. Chamisha Tamim v'chamisha Muadim. We're familiar with this Mishnah. There's 5 times 5 muads. A behema is not a muad to do Karen. Part of Karen, we said, a told of Karen, which is really a av, but it's the subcategory of Karen, is to gore, to push, to bite off a mirror, and to lay on a chair deliberately, to break it, and to kick a car. Hashem muedes lechol esarayla, but Shen, that is no time and muad. It's right away, it's a muad to eat. Esarayla, what's good for it. In other words, when it eats for its benefit and enjoyment, then it's chayiv nezik shalom. Haregel, and walking, muedes lishbor b'derech hilucha. When it breaks things, when it walks, but not tzroiris. Tzroiris is a shot of a stone that comes out, not direct contact from its foot to a kli. V'shar hamuad, and a shar that did it 3 times is a muad. V'shar hamazik b'shus harizik. Even a shar that's a tam, but it went directly into the other property, then he's chayiv nezik shalom. The adam and a human being, adamud la'olam, a human being is chayiv. Haze'ev. We have picture time here. This is Ze'ev. Vari, I'm not going to show you yet. V'hadoiv, and a beard. V'hanomer, v'har bardlos. They say a bardlos is a cheetah. A leopard is a number. It happens to be my favorite animal, only because it's a beautiful animal. The one on the left, powerful. It has all milas, fast. The whole thing. It could carry double its weight up a tree, and I saw it with my own eyes. Carries like not a zebra that it can't carry, but what do you call it? A impala. Literally, no problem. Just runs up a tree with it. Very, very powerful. Anyway, next. Barbardos. Here's a shaila, Rabbi Isai. Here's the shaila. The bardalus, the cheetah, could run. It's the fastest runner in the world. It could run close to 70 miles an hour. So the shaila is, then why does the Mishnah say rotzka tzvi? Here's the shaila. Rotzka tzvi. Tzvi doesn't come close to bardalus. Oh. So I've said this many times. I heard this from Remaylich. Remaylich Biderman says that a tzvi could outrun a bardalus for many, many miles. Bardalus, a cheetah, could run for 60 seconds at 70 miles an hour. 60-something miles an hour. But that's it. It gets tired, and you see it. After it catches an animal, it can't eat it. It sits there, and it huffs and it puffs for minutes, for a very long time. Meanwhile, other animals come and take it from him, never. So there's Remaylich that you want to be Matzliach and Avodas Hashem, you got to go for the long run. You got to be able to stick it out. You come with a bread. Oh, I'm going to learn now. Ooh, I'm going to do for the Chaylim. I don't know what. For half an hour, and then peters out. That's not Daf Yomi. Learning every day, consistency. For the long run, that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. Rotz katzvi. Akol ponim, says the Gemara, the Mishnah, real quickly. Harei elu muadim. Rebbe Elazar Omer bisman shem b'nei tarbus ein muadim. And this, I have a video that happened. Ooh, did I say Nachash? Nachash. So just yesterday, 2 days ago, I was in the Everglades. I did not see this, but this is a picture in the Everglades of a Burmese python. It's an invasive species, and they have tens of thousands of them in the Everglades. Because one Meshugana released his python in there, and it doesn't belong there, and it eats gators, it eats everything in there. They used to have bunnies over there. No more rabbits. Nothing. No rabbits in the Everglades. They're all eaten. The kids they go around killing these guys. Yom and They already killed over 10,000, and there's many, many more. These things weigh 200 pounds and more. They don't bite. They squeeze their prey, and they could literally. There's pictures of them swallowing a full gator alive, just the whole thing. I'll go upon him. That's now. I just want to show you quickly that Bisman Shem B'nei Tarbos, if you trained a lion, ain't more than there's no more. So this happened just yesterday. This video is going around in Italy. Look what happened here. Look at the street. This is Mamish in Italy. But he was a trained lion from a circus. He got away. They actually ended up catching him. Boy, have a wonderful day. Yishkoyach. Oh, we got to do Tehillim. We'll do Shir Amalis, yeah? Shir Amalos, mi mamakim, krosicho Adonai, Adonai, shemo v'koili, tienos lecho kashuvois, lechoy tachanunoi, im avoinois, tishmorio, Adonai, mi amoy, kimcho aslicho, leman tivorei, kivisi Adonai, kivso nafshi, v'ledvaroi, yocholti, nafshi l'Adonai, mishomrim laboiker, shomrim laboiker, Yachel Israel El Adonai, Kim Adonai Chesed V'Arbei Imoy Fedus, V'Hu Yivdes Israel Mikol El Avonitzo, Acheinu Kol Beis Israel Anesunim B'Tzoro V'Shivyo, Hoim Dem Bein Bayom U'Bein Bayabosho, Hamokim Rachim Alei V'Yitzim Etzol L'Revocho, U'Miafelo L'Yoyro U'Mishiv L'Geula, Hashto Bagalo B'Zman Koriv V'Nimar Omei, Yishkoyach, Good Shabbos. Tomorrow, Beis Hashem at 1 o'clock, I believe. And Motzei Shabbos at 9 o'clock.